Hello, everyone. I wanted just to spend a little time with you, talking and even revealing perhaps some of the deeper reasons why I have worked with Nikken for 26 years now. That's a long time, yeah? And I want to start with a really big picture. And that is that in many religious texts around the world, including the Old Testament and the New Testament, it's talked about that there's a time coming now where there is a collapse in the current world order, and there is a rising of a new heaven and a new earth. Now, the reason this is significant for me personally is that even in my teens, I was guided to read about that this is a time of awakening. And I knew very clearly that I was born for this time to assist in this awakening of the new heaven and the new earth. And really, we hear quite a bit now about the new earth. There is a new earth, there's a 5D and a 3D, and there's a split and all of this happening. It's a little bit different in my experience of spirit. And that is that the new heaven comes first. And that is the awakening of consciousness. And then the new earth is materialized because of that. The new earth comes into being in form because of the shift of consciousness within each and every individual. So the new heaven comes first. And as in heaven, so on earth. I know that's starting with a really big picture, but this is all connecting in, and I hope I'll be able to connect the dots for you a little bit. So, when I was very young, I saw the misuse of pharmaceutical drugs. I saw what happened to my own mother and the derailment that occurred with all of the different drugs and alcohol and a troubled mind getting worse and electroshock treatments. And then the use of pethidine ultimately, which was a heroin derivative, and becoming completely addicted to that. And what I observed, because I had a stepfather who was a doctor and a father who was a doctor, Western medicine, allopathic medicine, was that there was something going on in the dynamic between the pharmaceutical companies and the medical profession, where I saw my stepfather being bought, I'll just say it, being bought in a very curious way, being taken on trips to Hawaii, being taken on trips to Switzerland, being given free samples, of course, of everything, being sort of pushed to give this more and more to his patients. And of course, my mother was first in line. Why? Because she gave her sovereignty of being away to the medical profession, thinking that the medical profession would solve her issues versus going deeper into herself, into why her mind was troubled, into the emotional wounds, into the heart, and ultimately into her spiritual truth. So when I saw that, I thought there's something really not good happening here. And the more drugs she took, the more I could see that the darkness, the darker forces were occupying her space. They were coming in and I could see them. I don't know why, I just was always like that. I could see those things when I was a little girl, and I would see them like dark gnats around her. So they were infiltrating her energy field, her light body. And so the more drugs she took and the more alcohol she took in, the more permeable her light body became, and the more the darkness could come in and invade and take over. So after my first career in ballet, when I asked, what are we really here for, or what am I here for? I heard the words very distinctly, your life is about healing. And I knew instantly that was true. And so I left my complete world of ballet, the only thing I really knew how to do really, as far as a career. And I started studying natural medicine because I always thought there's got to be a better way to take care of our health. And having seen my mom use electric blankets and that sort of thing, and just getting worse and worse, and electric shock treatments, I always was saying, let's go in nature, let's go in nature, let's go in nature, because nature's got the answer. Why? Because nature is the perfect example of God, source, grace in action. In action. This is why we feel so good in nature, and we get messages in nature. The sunlight gives us messages, the earth's energy field gives us messages, the trees give us messages, the flowers give us messages, the water and the streams give us messages that we need on all levels: physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. So it connects us, it reconnects us. And I knew that's what my mother needed, but she was taking that other route. Well, you can't save another soul, right? Every soul has free will. We all have free will. And so I had to sort of let that go. I mean, of course I wanted to help her, but the realization that I really couldn't change her methods of operation. She was the only one that could choose to do that or not, and she chose not to. And so that derailment carried through until her passing away, which was almost a relief in a way for me to see that she wasn't suffering anymore, that she was now free and back to her true light body, her true sovereignty of being, her true incredible, loving, light, joyful nature that she was as a spirit. So that was sort of my learning. So I studied macrobiotics, which is the study of life, study of nature. How do we stay healthy on all levels through working with nature, through working with the seasons, through working with natural organic foods and drinks, through living a life connected to the universe. That's really what macrobiotics is, about learning to live with the laws of the universe. And I loved that. I was all about it and studied that a lot. And then had a healing center and was doing healing work with people. And I could see as I worked with people, the light coming back. Not because it was my light to them, but that I was able to bring in, channel, however you would like to see it and say it, the light, the love for them, so they were bolstered, protected, supported, so that physically they could feel a lot better, emotionally they could feel a lot more joy, and also mentally be calm and peaceful. Then I had the healing center, so that was really exciting. I was doing a lot of work with that. And then I found Nikken. And so now I want to talk a little about why have I been with Nikken for 26 years? Why that level of loyalty? Because I have helped thousands of people with Nikken's technologies, thousands upon thousands. I've helped thousands of people with the business. I've helped many people make a lot of money, including millions. And yet some people still have left. Why? What is the loyalty about? Well, I want to tell you simply that it's about serving the light. It's about serving truth. It's about serving beauty. It's about serving God. It's about being devotional. And it's about doing everything I can to help people on a global level during this time of awakening. And right now is such a time, such a time. There is a prayer, and I'm going to read it actually for you because I have it right here. It's really a decree. And I've used it many times before. I've done a lot of public speaking in front of 12,000 people, 10,000 people. I've always done this prayer because I find it connects me and grounds me to the truth and to my truth. So let me read it to you here for a second. It's called the Violet Flame. You may have come across it. And it says this: I am the violet flame in action in me now. I am the violet flame, to light alone I bow. It's my favorite line, I think, although I love all the lines. I am the violet flame in mighty cosmic power. I am the light of God shining every hour. I am the violet flame blazing like a sun. I am God's sacred power freeing everyone. It moves me deeply, and if you say it over and over, and you ask for your guides, your ascended masters, for the spirits, for the angels of the light to come and be with you. They will come and they will support you in your work. And this is why I've always done this for many years now. I can't say I do it every day, but especially before in very important times with people, especially if it's with a lot of people, to make sure that I'm clear, to make sure that it's coming through in truth and in joy and in peace. Now, Eckhart Tolle talks a lot about the new heaven and the new earth in his book, The New Earth. I think it's a shame it's not called The New Heaven or A New Heaven and a New Earth. It's just New Earth. But he really does talk a lot about lifting away the pain body and coming back into one's truth as a spark of the light, a spark of God. And he talks a lot about acceptance and just being in acceptance of things first and foremost, then being in enjoyment of your life as you go through your day and evening and night. And then enthusiasm, being filled with God to do your work. And that enthusiasm is very, very creative. And when I found Nikken, I found this quickening happening in me around enthusiasm, which has just sustained me throughout this whole time, throughout light times, dark times, challenging, conflictual times, and sublime, beautiful, orchestrated perfection times. So I want to talk a little about the products, the business, and the community as well. So, the products, what I realized with the technologies of Nikken is that it's, first of all, Japanese, Asian. This is where Macrobiotics came from, as well as Japan. And it was all about nature. It was the same teachings about the laws of nature that I'd learned in Macrobiotics, only it was utilized in some different ways along with organic foods. It was these other elements. So earth energy and bringing that back into our lives. Now, I'm not going to go into the details of the physics, but the earth's field has decreased 50% in the last 500 years. And there is no life form on this planet that can live and survive without the earth's natural field. We are not just living on the earth. We are the earth. We are part of the earth. We are inextricable from the earth. And so we need that magnetic field that is fueling our energy system. And of course, with Asian medicine, everything is about the energy system. And as you create the energy system robust and strong and beautiful, the physical body will follow suit. So what I started to see was, how clever they're bolstering the earth's natural field in our homes, offices, cars, schools, wherever, because we need it, because there's a deficit and we need that back in our lives. And then they're bringing the sunlight in with certain technologies, and then the incredible vital energies of the air, like you have when you're by the seaside or when you're by a waterfall, by a stream in the mountains, and how well you feel, how good you feel, how vibrant, how radiant. They're bringing all of this in through the wellness home technologies. And what I started to see was that the work I was doing on people in terms of healing, quote unquote, because you're never really the healer, the divine is the healer, you are an instrument of that healing, is that it was bringing the light back so that that human being could resonate, come back into resonance and start vibrating at a higher level to become robust and vital and vibrant themselves. And I saw it and I was like, wow, this means I could help thousands of people instead of doing the one-on-one trading time of healing just one person at a time, which I felt was slow. Not that it wasn't lovely, but it wasn't efficient enough for this time. This time is calling for us to awaken on a global level. This awakening, this rising of the new heaven within, the rising of consciousness. And of course, to ascend, to move into this ascension process is not to leave the body, not at all. It's to ascend through the body. And so the whole body, mind, spirit, which is all connected, it needs to stay really vibrant and robust. Some people call this the armor of God. When your energy field is big and glowing and beautiful, it's the armor of God. It is your protection. It is your support. It is your nourishment. It is your nurturance. And so I started to see this with people, and I was like, this is really exciting, because what I can help people do is each individual become a portal of light and love, so that they are opening the doors to the universe, so that all that love and light and peace can stream in, and they can become a pillar of light on the planet at this time. And if I build a network of people who are doing that, wow, that means there are pillars of light all over the world, wherever Nikken resides. That's what I saw. That's what I knew. That's what I was told. I was also told that these are survival tools. And I thought, well, that's a little dramatic. But now, as I'm looking at what's happening and unfolding on our planet right now, I would absolutely say these are survival tools. If your energy field is strong, robust, and fully connected to the universe, the sun, the air, the earth, the water of our planet, and you are fully connected along with organic foods and so forth, you will not only survive this time, but you will thrive. You will thrive, and you will be a gift to others because of your thriving, vibrant, bright energy. So this idea of helping people become pillars of light, pillars of love, pillars of joy, pillars of peace all over the world was like just incredibly exciting to me. And also the idea of finding people who resonated with the same message and were part of the team of people helping to make this occur. Because quite honestly, no one person can do it by themselves. And if we think it's all about us, then our ego is having a heyday and we're in trouble. I mean, one of the most beautiful things about building a team with Nikken is that the more you let go of your ego, the more you allow everyone to shine and empower them and inspire them to shine, the better your service to our world is going to be. And so it's a letting go of ego, not a hanging on to ego. And of course, Eckhart Tolle talks a lot about that, right? Releasing the ego, the defined ego, to become something greater. And if you want to grow in the business and go through those steps of silver, gold, platinum, diamond, royal diamond, that's an alchemical process. And really, it's a process of letting go more and more of the ego and the control factor, and letting in more and more of the light and the love of the universe, of God. And the more you do that, the more you can connect through the oneness on our planet, because we are all one, and yet we're all individual aspects of the one. And the more you can do that, the more your business grows. So it's not about getting stuck in the ego. I've got to do this and I've got to do this and I have these goals. It's not. It's about letting go and becoming intimate with all that is, which is our true nature. So how exciting is that? How exciting is that? And once I started to realize that, I was like, oh, as I do that myself, and as I help others do that, this business is blossoming. And what does that mean is that we're really helping our world, especially right now at this time of crisis and opportunity. So it's an alchemical process. So don't forget about that. Another aspect is just the community. When you are vibrating at a higher level, you don't want to be all by yourself, I do love being by myself out in the mountains, I can say, because I just fill up with all that incredible energy. But you want to be with others who are like-hearted, like-minded, like in the soul, and the search for the sovereignty of the soul, which has always been there all along, but letting go of everything that has perhaps blocked that sovereignty from coming forth. So this is about really building community. And I know right now, so much is online. I get it. Sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't. But it does allow us to reach a lot more people. But affiliate marketing has really taken off. But affiliate marketing, you don't know the people that come through your links. There is no real community building not like there is in network marketing. In network marketing, there is a true community that you are building and that you belong to. And what's so beautiful is that you're not going to resonate with everybody in the whole business. You're just not, and that is fine. Should we? Do we have to? No. You can resonate on that soul level, but as far as your individual take on life, there will be certain people you'll resonate with, and those are the ones you get to work with. So you get to choose who you resonate with and where the energy is empowering both ways. Not just upline to downline empowerment, but also downline to upline empowerment and crossline empowerment. That that the empowerment really is copacetic, and it's like a lemniscate of energy, so that you really get reciprocity. That's the word I was searching for. And you do want that, because it's silly to think that the upline is just there to constantly empower the downline and that the downline isn't there to help empower the upline, because we're all going to go through phases, and sometimes it's going to be difficult for you because of other things. Maybe you have a relationship that's crumbling, maybe other things are happening in your life, maybe you have a child that's having problems, and so everybody needs support and empowerment. So I'm a great believer in that. So with building the business, that's what I look for. I look for people who are willing and able to empower me, just as I'm very willing and able to empower them. And maybe I'm just a little further along the line, along the course, although it's always spiralic, because that's how the world works, is in spirals. So it's not really a ladder, right? It's not. I was listening to Lee Harris the other day. I like Lee Harris a lot, and I've been signing up for some of his work, entrepreneurial workshop, and now initiations. It's just so great. And he channels the Z's, and he's English, and I like that. And I just really like him. I just find him humble and beautiful, just like Eckhart Tolle is as well. And so, he was just saying that, in terms of entrepreneurship, one of the reasons people don't want to grow, like really grow, is because of this level of intimacy that's going to happen, because there's this connection that happens more and more and more, first with a few people, then with a few more, and then with some hundreds of people, and then with some thousands of people, and ultimately millions of people. And they are afraid that they're going to lose themselves in the level of depth of commitment to the intimacy of the connection. I thought that is so true, because when I see people get stuck in Nikken, maybe they go silver, maybe they go platinum, whatever it is, and then they just kind of get stuck. It's kind of like they go, oh, it's getting a little big, and we don't always recognize what the real fear is. And when he named it like that, I was like, that's it, because you're really showing up more and more as a luminous being. And the more you show up as a luminous being in connection with the all, the more the ego just sort of disappears. It's just not very present. So you almost feel like you are simply energy. And of course, the products day and night are supporting that radiance, so that you are really becoming a radiant light. And so the ego goes, am I losing myself here? Because the ego, wants to stay in existence, and it will fight. It will fight for that. And that is ultimately the fight we all have. It's a soul battle. It's not with anybody else. It's not with anything else. It's the soul battle within us about our sovereignty, our luminosity, our spark of godness, and the ego. And what's going to win, and who's going to win. And you see that. It's the battle of light and dark, and it's all happening within. So if you're just projecting it without and saying it's them, well, I'm going to just suggest it's all right here. And we all have that battle. I know I do. Almost every day, really, it's happening. I'm dealing with that battle, but the more conscious I am of it, the more I can just say no to that and yes to that. No to that part of me and yes to that part of me. So having a community of others that are on that path of transformation, transmutation, transfiguration is really, really powerful. The fact that you can make millions doing that, great. Why? Because you can create freedom. You can create freedom. Therefore, you're not held to jobs you don't like or relationships you don't want anymore. Or maybe the relationship's just done, but you don't know how to get out of it because financially you can't. So there are a lot of reasons why one might want financial vitality in one's life. Sometimes it's to get out of a situation, out of a pickle. Sometimes it's to move into something greater. So that's a lovely byproduct, but let's be clear, it is a byproduct. The money that you make in Nikken with your team is a byproduct of this inner transformational business aspect, this transformation of self. And the more that happens, and the more then that you're connecting, because it's natural to connect them with the oneness of all life and connecting with that in others and finding those other luminous beings that are on the same path and showing them here is a mechanism by which you can transform all levels of your life. I mean, look at the 5 pillars of health. I mean, what does Nikken's dictate first and foremost? It's humans being more. What does that mean? That means awakening. And then the 5 pillars of health is a healthy body. The body has to be, as the body transforms, the consciousness transforms. It's all connected. A healthy mind, same thing. Healthy family, same thing. Healthy society, same thing. Healthy finances, same thing. So every aspect of the 5 pillars is helping us to transform. However, if you get fixated on just making money, it's probably not going to happen. Get focused on service to the divine. First and foremost, service to the divine through and in the earth. It's not so much service to people per se. I mean, it is, but it's really service to the divine in those people. It's service to the awakening process. And so long as you have that kind of correctly formatted in yourself, you understand what you're really, who are you really working with? I mean, who really is the CEO of my Royal Diamond business? Am I the CEO of my Royal Diamonds? Well, yeah, on paper, yes, but no, not really. It's the spirit. It's the goddess. It's God. And let's talk about the goddess for a minute, because the goddess is very powerful. Nikken is a living being, and it is a very feminine being. She really, but look at it. It's wellness homes. It's nurturing. It's nourishment. It's health. It's so feminine, really. And the feminine is awakening on the planet. The feminine is rising, the divine feminine, not the wounded feminine. We need to transform the wounded feminine, just like we need to transform the wounded masculine, but the divine feminine is rising so that ultimately the divine masculine and divine feminine can come into the hieros gamos, which is the sacred marriage. This happens within us. And as it happens within us, it can happen without us, right? Always it's as within, so without, as above, so below. Doesn't happen the other way around. So you're not focused on form, you're focused on energy and light and bringing the goddess through so she can do her work and serving as a priestess. And I just have to say, I love helping women whom I know are priestesses of God, goddess, to help them liberate, to help them transform, to help them, maybe they're the ones who need the money. Maybe they're the ones who need the freedom to move out of a situation that isn't good for them anymore, right? Or maybe they just love healing and health, and that's their thing, and that's very true for me. And maybe it's just they just want peace in their mind, and they're just anxious a lot. Maybe they're overly worried about the planet. Maybe they're overly worried about others, versus understanding that as within, so without. As we transform here, that will become evident out there. You will have a ripple effect. You cannot not have a ripple effect. When you're living in joy and bliss and beauty and grace, you're going to affect others. You just are. You just will. I have to say, and this is not an ego thing, but it is funny that very often if I happen to go out and maybe I go eat in a restaurant by myself just because I'm in the mood, very often people will come by later on and say, I've been watching you and you're just full of light. It's amazing. And you've transformed this whole place. And it's just so sweet. And it's also very humbling because I know that's not me. That's not Julie. That's just simply because I'm sitting there. And the truth is I am observing and I am loving, but it's the love within me. It's the God within me, the goddess within me that's loving and bringing peace and just enjoying watching all these beings do their thing. So it's really lovely when that happens. And that's just like, when you see a magnificent tree out there, the tree's not saying, aren't I so great? Aren't I so great? No, it's just being. And you go, wow, tree, you're so magnificent. I feel transformed by being in your presence. This is the beauty of gurus. You will resonate with some and not with others. Of course, we all do. The person I've always resonated with the most is Paramahansa Yogananda. Does that mean I follow all his Kriya Yoga path? No. In fact, the moment I see his face, I fall in love again. I have pictures of him on my phone, in my favorites, with the little heart. So when I just feel like a little thrown off, I'll just look at his face. That's all I need to do. And I'll feel him present. This is the same with Papaji or Babaji, Jesus Christ, the Christ consciousness, Buddha consciousness, Lao Tzu, the Tao Te King, the consciousness of the Tao. It's all the same thing. And when we bring that and we bring it fully into our work is effortless, it's joyful, it's full of enthusiasm because enthusiasm means filled with God. And so you're not struggling and striving and pushing to build a Nikken network. You're singing and dancing and laughing and playing, and the network grows. Why? Because you become magnetic. The more you stand in your own sovereignty of being, the more you are in your true power, not power over. Who needs that? We have enough of that. Examples on the planet. No, power with, true power with, authentic power. And power and abundance are very, very interlinked. They're really almost the same thing. I mean, power, true power is life force, is abundance. So that's then how it just starts to reveal that you just become magnetic and that people come and they show up and you'll feel it and you'll know. And if there isn't a resonance and there isn't a fit, it's fine. Maybe they'll never get the power of Nikken and the fact that these technologies help us with our awakening process and help us become pillars of light around the world. And through that network, we can really affect the consciousness on the planet times 10, times 100, times 1,000. Maybe they'll never get that. It's okay. They don't have to. It's fine. Many people that I've talked to don't get it, but a few people get it. And those few people who help a few others, get it. Watch out, world. This is where our awakening really then, you start to see it manifesting. Pop, 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 light, 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 light. And actually today is the new moon and it's the first day of Diwali. Diwali is the celebration, the festival of lights in India. We celebrate the light within as the days get shorter and there's more darkness as comes through to the winter time. It's the celebration of light. It's actually, I love that celebration. I think it is so beautiful to have all the candles lit and celebrate the light. And today is the first of those days of that festival. I just thought of that. That's kind of cool. So I felt moved to make this. So again, when you have the air system in your room, in your house, and I have 6 in my home, when you have the water system and you're drinking that vibrant living water, when you're sleeping in that cocoon of light, that is your armor of God. And the more light you are becoming on the planet, the more the darker forces are going to want to come in and disrupt that process. That is the game. And so you want that protection so that when you're sleeping, you can safely leave the body, go and get your teachings, your learnings, meet up with others on other planes, and be able to come back safe and sound with your body protected by the light and in the light. And I saw that when I was very young with my mother, without doing that, using that electric blanket, which destroys the light, and then the darkness coming in because of all the drugs she was taking as well, and all the alcohol and everything. I saw what happened, and it happened at night. That's when I would see it the most. Those dark forms coming in and possessing, taking over. And of course, there is such a thing, and we know that. I mean, Jesus spoke about it, and told them to get out people when he was doing healing work. So this is real. It is not just a fantasy thing. So that sleep system protects you and supports you. And it's the whole thing. It's the pad underneath you. It's the comforter, the duvet on top of you. It's the pillow and the pillowcase. It's everything to support, nourish, nurture your system so that you can be protected, strong, vibrant, radiant, sleep deep, be nourished, nurtured, so that in the day you can wake up and do your work, your mission. What is your mission? What is your purpose on the earth? Why were you born at this time? I am sure if you're listening to this, you're part of my tribe, and that is you came to help with the awakening on the planet at this time. And we do it one person at a time, but it always is about this first, us, self, and becoming our true self, sovereignty of being. I hope this is helpful for you. I don't know how long I've talked, but share it if you feel moved. And I love you. Lots, many blessings. And in Nikken, there's only one prayer you need to have, and that is just, may I be a blessing. May I be a blessing. May I serve the divine. And to light alone I bow. Don't forget that. To light alone I bow. Thank you so much. Be well. Love you, and talk to you soon.